Yes. Dr. Mindy in the house. All right.
I appreciate that. The carnivore diet.
Because of what we eat.
Honestly, you've really touched my heart. But the way we now live is that for most women, they have constantly circulating elevated levels of adrenaline. It's constant, it's all the time. So our bodies are always getting the message that our life is in danger. And that's a big part of what I want women to understand. We're so capable, but we have to learn ways to communicate to our body the truth, which is that we are thankfully relatively safe.
Yeah, and that it was so well said, by the way, and I hope our listeners just grab that, because I will tell you that when I moved into my early 40s, I was doing the classic, like raising 2 little kids, working all the time, working out all the time, being really rigid with my diet. My days were very packed. And I all of a sudden, exactly what you said, I started not sleeping well. Anxiety, depression, things kicked in that I'd never experienced in my life before. And never once until I read your book, did I stop to realize that just because I was capable of doing all these incredible things that were on my schedule throughout a day, that my body was asking me to slow down. My body was asking me to do something different. And I think it's probably the hardest thing for women to realize, because we live in a society that is so programmed to teach us to keep going, to do it all, and to know that biochemically we are not meant to keep that pace up. It is really hard for the brain to overcome. Am I the only one that says that?
No, most people say that, but I want to do it all. I want to experience this.
Yeah.
And this. I don't want to miss out. I have a lot to contribute.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. So I've thought about this a lot, and I love your TED Talks great too, because you talk about the cave woman versus, what do you call it? The juggling woman. And I share that with my community a lot, that if we go back to the cave woman days, we walked out of the cave and we were like, okay, what are we going to do today? Maybe I had to go find some food, maybe like sit and hang out with other women around the cave and talk. We didn't get up, grab the cup of coffee, get on the phone, drive the kids to carpool. But the modern world is so different right now. How are we going to help women thrive in this world? Because it's like a pace that just takes over if you're not careful.
Yeah. So I feel like we've got to take a step back and we need to pause and think, okay, it's really important actually that I acknowledge this at the moment with everything going on in the world. There is very real and genuine stress going on in the world right now and in people's lives. However, there is also a huge amount of stress we create for ourselves because of how we think. And that's the part we can change. So that's what I'm interested in. What we can't change, okay, we leave that. It's about addressing what we can change. So, and what we forget is that, we think that our stress comes from everything outside of us. We think it's because of the to-do list or that person or that colleague or that particular situation. And what I think we've really lost sight of is that it's actually our response to the to-do list, the person, the situation. We forget that. And we forget that we get to choose how we see all of that. Some people get stressed about running late. Now, sometimes they don't want to run late because they're worried about missing out on a meeting starting or learning something at a conference. They don't want to be late. But when it's not that, it's usually because it's not the running late itself that stresses us out. If you pull the curtain back on that, what we see is that we're actually